Hello and welcome back to Transfer Hub. Absolutely love it. Love doing these. And I've got Justin with me as well. So if you're new, subscribe. If you do watch us regularly and you aren't subscribed, subscribe. Let's smash it through the summer now. Let's get as many new subscribers as we can. Your support is absolutely massive, and get involved in everything that we discuss on this episode. We're looking to hear your thoughts on all of these transfer rumours, on which ones you would pick and the ones that you want to see at Aston Villa. So we'll start off with the big one of the day, really. Diegocarlos. It's come from David Orstein of The Athletic, and he's saying that Villa are looking at the possibility of signing him. So I've got a few quotes from the article of where it's come from. He put, the 29-year-old has been a key man for Sevilla since moving from Nantes in 2019, helping the Spanish side win the Europa League in 2020 and qualifying for next season's Champions League. Carlos, an Olympic gold medalist from Brazil at the Tokyo Games, has 2 years left on his deal and he's attracted interest from standardly Newcastle United and Villa. He's recognised by Villa as being one of Europe's leading operators in this position, although they might need to free up space in the squad through departures before adding to Gerrard's resources. So let's have a little look at the profile of him. Let me just get it on my screen as well. So 29 years of age. His stats for defending are looking at around 76. Player market value, £39 million, which is a lot of money. Let's go some more. He's last 12 months, SOFA score rating 7.06. As I've said on every single one of these, I think benchmark sevens across the board are very, very good. A little bit about where he's come from. Started off at Sao Paulo in Brazil, moving to Portugal, then to France for Nantes, and then at Sevilla. He moved there for £13.2 million. If you look, he plays on the left-hand side of a centre-back partnership. So you'd be looking at Ming's cover replacement-ish, maybe. And then these are some of the stats that I do like. When I'm looking at some of these centre-backs, I do like it when I'm seeing 78% pass accuracy per game. In his own half, 95%. Opposition half, 71%. 13 clean sheets. 0.7 interceptions per game. Tackles per game, 1. If we're looking at a little bit of his game where it's a bit iffy, yellow cards, red cards. So, yeah, that's a little bit about his player profile. Justin, welcome. What are you saying?
All right, mate. I'm not sure about this one, to be honest. The main drawback for me is a 29-year-old for 40 million that has got no track record in the Premier League. He looks decent about for what he's done there, obviously in Seville. He's had a good 3 years there. But I'm just not sure. Looking at some of his statistics, I use the fbref.com. I think that's how you present it. And it's not massively encouraging, if I'm brutally honest, but I've not seen him play that much, so it would be a stab in the dark for me to give you a real idea of is it a good signing or not. I mean, the club have obviously seemed to have, if this is to be believed, highlighted him as one of the targets for centre half, and with all the rumours coming out today, which we're going to come on to soon, it does seem to me that it looks like we might even be going for 2 centre halves. So I think with the other two that we're going to cover in a bit, at the moment, I think I'd be edging towards those as opposed to this lad. Just looking solely on statistics and what I've seen today compared to the other two, he doesn't, for £40 million for 29-year-old, when Tarkovsky's on a free as well and has played in the Premier League, I'm not sure about this one. That's just a gut instinct. Seeing him, today from what I've read of him.
Today as well, Gerard's done an interview on AVTV, which I think is very, very good from him. A quote, what he said is, "We'll try and set a culture and a standard here where it's not acceptable to be inconsistent. That's the challenge moving forward." Things I've read a little bit about this Diego Carlos is he's slightly error prone at times. And I think another thing that Gerard mentioned today as well is that he wants winners in his side. Now, an aspect of this Diego Carlos is he is a winner. He's won the Europa League. So that part of me says he's a winner. But again, we don't want these inconsistencies, which is part of the problem. What I'm trying to get at is I think we're looking for these two defenders that we're going to be bringing in to defend and just be defenders and allow everybody else to be as creative and forward thinking as possible. Yeah, I'm with you. I just think the fee is a lot of money, and I'm just not sure he would be the right fit at this moment in time for Villa. We're going to move on now to another link which we have got is Aston Villa are closing in on a deal for Rangers defender Calvinbassey. That's the Times editor in Scotland where this is coming out from. So I watched the Europa League final. I've watched the Scottish final as well. And Bassey was absolutely insane. He was quality. He was all over the pitch. He was colossus, to be fair. I thought he opened my eyes up to him. But again, 22 years of age, he's not really fitting the bill of what Gerard is coming out and saying. Is he that you want proven, born winners and more, what's the word I'm looking for, Justin? More, not experienced, but
just
you know what I mean?
ready to walk straight into the team,
Yes.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the difference between the last one and Bassey is that obviously Gerard knows all about him because he took him to Rangers, didn't he? And he took him from Leicester, so he's got a little bit of although I don't think he actually played in the Premier League for Leicester. Gerard knows all about him. He knows what he can do, what he's capable of, and it looks like he's stepped up another level this year with what he's done in the Europa League and this season for Rangers. And I think he's left-sided as well. Is he another left-sided defender?
I think he is, yeah.
Yeah, he is left-sided, yeah, left-footed. So he would also fit that mould of that left-side centre-half that we're looking at. And his statistics are brilliant, to be honest, compared to Carlos. And at 22, I don't know what kind of money they'll be talking about for him, but I'd rather be spending a bigger chunk of transfer money on a lad who's 22 and has got a lot of potential than a 29-year-old that's coming towards the end of his career. I mean, it's not to say that he couldn't come in, the Brazilian lad, and do really well for us, but there's no resale. There's nothing at the end of it, really. So he'd have to come in and have a really good 3 or 4 or 5 seasons. And they do play longer now as well. So I don't think 29 is old particularly. It's I would say that as probably peak years, anything from 27 to 32, really, is peak years. So you're getting him in the middle of that. And if he signed a 4-year deal, he could easily play to his 33 fitness provided. But out of the two, what I've seen today and what I've read, Bassey would probably be my pick if you're going for a left-hand sided defender out of the ones that have been linked currently. Whether that's, there's going to be more coming out over the next few days, but the Bassey one seems to be quite a strong link, I think. And obviously with his connection to Rangers and Gerrard.
Coming out from Scotland as well, so
yeah. So it does seem to have a bit more legs, that one. And again, I did watch him in the Europa League final, and he was outstanding. He's quick. He's
so athletic.
He's decent on the ball, and he's got room to grow, hasn't he? So I think that would be, for me, a good signing. I think.
Yeah. And then moves us on to the final centre-back that we are linked with at the minute. Aston Villa have offered James Tarkowski a contract worth 120k a week. The defender is weighing up the offer. For me, this is the no-brainer for me. I'll take this one all day long. I think if we can get that one done, I think I've seen people saying, is he an upgrade on what we've already got? And I think I'm looking at it a bit differently. If you're asking me, is Tarkovsky a better defender than Konsa and Tyrone Mings consistently? I think I'd say yes. What are you
I think
saying?
he's a more out and out defender.
Yeah,
I think I spoke to Stephen Ward. I think they said the other night about him, and he raved about him. He said he's a proper defender, basically old school, great in the air, doesn't mess about. I mean, if you look at his statistics over the last 12 months, he's in the top 99% of all defenders. Really, his blocks are fantastic, clearances, aerial duels won. Wardy said he's like strong as an ox. He can hold people off. He's positionally, he's not the quickest. He's got a bit of a turn of pace, but I don't think he's particularly quick. But I think his positional sense is very, very good. He seems to be a leader on the pitch as well, which I think Gerrard wants them all over the pitch now. I mean, the captaincy's up for debate, isn't it, next season? But I think he wants leaders in all positions. So fullback, goalkeeper, Martinez is a leader. Tarkovsky's a leader, I think, as well. So he could come in and do that role. So, yeah, I personally think it's not a bad signing. I know the money's been, ripped apart a little bit on Twitter, £120,000 a week. But you get him on a free transfer. That's the difference. So let's say, what's Tarkovsky worth in the open market? If you had a contract now and you had to buy him from Burnley, you're going to be talking between 25 million, something like that, I think, because of his age. So that works out over a 4-year deal, about 94 grand a week that you're saving on just the transfer fee alone. So, this is why players run down their contracts, because they know they're going to get a better contract offer when they move. So for me, I think Tarkovsky's a good shout. Absolutely. And I think the other lad from Scotland, Bassey's a good shout as well. I think those two coming in to supplement the signing of Kamara in the DCM role. That access, those three players that play in that area, you can see what Gerrard's trying to do. He's like he said in his press conference, and we said it towards the end of the season, we all have been, consistency drives us absolutely up the bloody wall, doesn't it? Because 1 week we look okay, next 2 weeks we look terrible. And he wants players to be, like you say, 7, 8 out of 10 every week, week in, week out. You cannot drop. If you drop your consistency, then you're out the team. So he wants players that are mentally strong, physically ready, and consistent week in, week out. That's what he's striving for.
Definitely. So it looks like we are 110% after a centre back or two. So we've got to just keep our eyes peeled on what goes on, whether Villa can just whack Tarkowski out the blue like we normally do with a couple of these, and we've sort of got to wait now till the middle of June until we can really start approaching these players. Another one has been linked heavily with Villa for a long time as well, and a lot of people were sort of thinking that he was going to be the sort of number 6, but now I'm sort of thinking Basuma number 8 incoming. Aston Villa are still looking to sign Yves Bissouma despite securing Boubacar Kamara, and that is from Graham Bailey as well. So, Justin, there's another central midfielder incoming in this window, isn't there?
I think so, yeah. It's an interesting one, the Basuma one, isn't it? Because, a lot of people saw him as the 6 that everyone wanted, but I never really saw him as that. I did see him as more of an 8. And I think now the Kamara one's done. And Nakamba will probably stay as well. And you got Timmy Rabunum as well. So I think that sort of area is really well stocked now. And one or two of the other lads could fill in if needs be, especially like Callum Chambers. So I don't see us signing another defensive midfielder, or maybe somebody that maybe could come in and help out. But Basuma can play that role, but I think if he does come in, it'll be more of an 8. I think it puts a question mark over Douglas Luiz's future, if I'm honest. Obviously, this contract is rumbling on, and I saw a link with him with Roma, I think, yesterday or the day before. I think they quite fancy him. So could it just be that, it was 1 in, 1 out in that area of the pitch? I don't know. There's obviously these little problems with this court case, which is just rumbling on in the background. I'd love that to be done and dusted, if I'm brutally honest, before we actually get anything over the line with him, because you wouldn't want that to backfire, sign him, and then he suddenly gets found guilty of something. I don't really know a lot about it, but I know it's still bubbling in the background. So that hopefully would be sorted one way or the other. But as a footballer on the pitch, yeah, very good player. I don't know what kind of fee you're talking, but I would think big money for him. Mind you, he's running his contract down, isn't he? I think he's probably only got a year left, I think, maybe. So you might get him a little bit cheaper.
Definitely. And then the final one of the day, Chukwuemeka to Barcelona. Let's not go there. Right, so I've been sent some pictures from one of my friends, Ben from HR Designs on Twitter. And he's done me some little prints, which are going to go nicely when I get them framed here. So I thought I'd just show you all them, and I'll just drop his name in the description to the video. So this one, really, really cool. Jacob Ramsey sort of cartoon character drawing. Love that one. And then there's one here, Justin, which you're going to absolutely love. This one.
Oh, nice.
That's really cool. So these are all, if you go through him on Twitter, it's HR Designs. And I know he's got an Etsy page as well. So I'm guessing you just type the same thing in there. But some nice little prints, which are going to go in my little backdrop, which will be really nice. So thank you, everybody, for watching. We thought we'd come on and do a little bit of a transfer hub. All the little rumours sort of merged together to make a nice little episode, haven't they, really?
It's starting to hot up now, isn't it? I think
together nicely. So let us know which ones you prefer, and if there's any names that you sort of maybe want us to have a look at and do a little bit of an episode on, we can do that as well. So thank you for watching, and up the Villa.
Up the